My name is Cihitli Ocampo, and I have been dancing professionally my whole life. I started out my career as a jazz tap dancer. I also trained in ballet as a foundation my whole life. I moved to New York at 17. I studied at the Ailey School. There I studied Dunham and Horton technique. And when I was in my mid-20s, I really wanted to switch to something that spoke to me culturally. My family I'm Mexican-American, but my grandmother is from Barcelona. And so I wanted to explore an art form that came from Spain. And so, of course, flamenco was the obvious choice. So that's why I switched to flamenco. I began working professionally as a dancer, one could say, really early. The first time I was on stage, I was only 9, and I started having my own classes, teaching my own classes, and having my own choreographies and setting my own lighting in theaters by the time I was 12. So I was professionally involved in dance from a very early age. I moved to New York City when I was 17. And I continued working. And eventually when I switched to flamenco in my 20s, at that point I joined several different companies based out of New York City. I was a member of American Bolero dance company and Danzas Españolas. And then I auditioned for Carlota, and I got into Carlota Santana Flamenco Vivo. So I was a member of that company for a couple years. And then I was awarded a Fulbright scholarship and I moved to Spain. I moved to Madrid for a couple months, and then eventually I settled in Andalusia, in Sevilla, where I trained pretty much exclusively with the Farruko family. I was eventually a part of their company as an understudy and was able to perform with them in Alma Vieja. And then from there, I met Ethan Margolis, my now husband, and we started Arte Pureza. So he was the director of the company and I was the lead dancer. And we had that company until about 2013. We were pretty active, touring all around the country and sometimes in Canada, and it was very exciting. And then since then I've been doing pretty much independent projects or working as a principal dancer, as a lead dancer in our own productions. So that's pretty much my trajectory now. I've been teaching my whole life, and I've also been teaching in colleges for about the past 7 years. Currently, I've been teaching at Santa Monica Community College for about 6 years. Humility. Just be humble and work really hard. Go to Spain, study from the greats, go to the source, go and study from the greats. They are out there and they are teaching. So I would highly recommend that. When in Spain, really seek out the situations that will get you outside of the studio. What's happening in the streets, what's happening in the bars. Get out and see what's happening in real life. Learn the cante. Become the rhythm. Don't settle for your steps. Don't settle for what you look like. Really concentrate on what you know. How much is what you know coming through you? How much is your understanding of the cante being transmitted? What emotions are you transmitting? Another big one. Focus on what you're worst at. So always work your worst traits and make those your best traits. Really important. Do not rely on what you're good at. Learn to rely on what you used to be really bad at. So the better you get at the things that you're not good at, the better you're gonna be all around. So work on your faults. Make them your strengths. Well, the truth of the matter is I've had a personal routine that I do every day since I was a little kid. It can last about 17 minutes up to 2 hours. It really depends on what's happening. Am I preparing for a show? Am I preparing for class to teach that day? Am I preparing for rehearsal? Am I preparing for just a one-off performance or a whole tour? Am I recovering from an injury? All those questions will decide how I start my day. So I always work the core, no matter what. I always work my feet and my legs. I do some exercises for alignment, for strength, and for flexibility and dexterity every single day. I always work the aperture of the chest and relaxing the neck, because of this extreme position that we're in tends to bring a lot of tension to the neck. I'm constantly trying to work through that, but it'll happen if you're here for enough hours throughout the day. I also work a lot on my upper back strength. But mostly it's core. So lots of core work every day. So I haven't gotten out of shape just because I dance every day. It is one of the most powerful art forms I have ever encountered. I am a lover of rhythm, and it is fully seeped in your ability to manipulate and respond to rhythm. I also have really grown as a human being from being involved in Gitano culture, understanding where this art form is coming from. There is nothing like studying from and working with the creators of the art form, the people who are responsible for the art form, and having that vision be a part of your formation as a dancer. So I'm really proud of that. I'm really blessed to have been able to study from so many amazing Gitano families and Gitano communities in Andalusia. And so I think it's really, really important in today's world to give credit where credit is due. So obviously I'm coming from the Gypsy school, from the Gitano school of understanding flamenco and of experiencing it. And for me, it is a great honor, and being a part of this is a source of great respect for that group and for that population. And I think it's really, really important to give credit where credit is due. And I think that that's part of what speaks to what's happening right now globally, is to give recognition to those who have been on the forefront of the creation, the innovation, and the development of the art form. Thank you so much, Carlota. Thank you so much for giving me one of my very first opportunities in flamenco, and for believing in me. And for everybody else, do not stop. Keep going. Never, ever let anything get in your way. No distractions. And enjoy the journey.